This college football coverage is sponsored by Bob Moore Kia of Edmond.
Thank you, Michael. Welcome, everyone. Going back and reviewing over the Kansas State game. Again, compliments to Kansas State winning a tough, hard-fought game. I felt like in a lot of areas our team, we played smarter. We, made more plays, more consistent, but we had, several critical errors that we couldn't overcome. Anytime you're in a game with a good team and you lose the turnover battle, in particular one that gives up a touchdown, and you missed 2 field goals and an extra point, it's going to be, you really put yourself behind the 8 ball with the different points you're missing and another turnover in the red zone. You're giving up points and you're giving points. It's just, you're not going to be able to overcome it. And we were 1 point away from overcoming it. We weren't able to do it. We needed to, again, be a series better on defense as well, not have the turnover in the red zone, make the field goals, whatever it could be, or not throw the pick. Any of those situations, you got a chance to be on the plus side of it. We weren't, and again, give Kansas State the credit for that. Some of the areas we threw the football, much more consistent, better. Our spacing, our timing, route running was all better. Trevor accuracy. Trevor had a great day outside of one play. It really is. And then, and also the score down late in the goal line, third and 1. We've got to be able to get that ball in. We were a little bit of bad luck. We were without Blake Bell and Aaron Ripkowski, 2 guys that really help protect and block on those edges in our short yardage and goal line sets, and we didn't have either one of them. So we didn't adjust to that as well as we needed to. So other guys, some other parts of the game, guys that played well. Gino Grissom had a couple of sacks, had a really good day. Zach Sanchez defended great. Again, I already said something. Trevor really played, well outside of the one play, and then Sterling Shepard had another huge game, big plays all over the place, competing. And Nick Hodgson, of course, kicking the ball off was really strong again. But what we'll do from here is we'll practice Monday through Thursday like we normally do a game week, preparing, getting extra work on Iowa State. And then even some other teams, if they have some similarities to Iowa State and what they're doing, we'll look at that as well. And just keep trying to, make improvement in what we're doing.
Why do you think the inconsistencies on the defensive end?
Inconsistencies as far as we were much better as far as assignments go. We have a missed tackle, gives up a long run with the quarterback. We have a linebacker gets out of his area in that spot. There isn't a reason. The guy running down the middle of the field, that's a difficult play when they're running the ball and he waits, and the center's 5 yards downfield blocking the linebacker, and he sneaks through the middle. We talked about cutting the guy's legs out, and that's what we need to do. So again, those are tough plays in the way they're allowed to play them.
Have you heard back from the Big 12 yet on Ripkowski on that call?
I haven't yet. I expect to hear back today, yes.
What's your injuries?
Nothing different from the game. Everybody should be able to practice today. And then Keith Ford, I know, is getting closer. We're hopeful to get him back here towards the end of the week.
Bob, coming off your goal line on that pass that Trevor threw, I want to make sure I'm correct. He had an option. He could have handed the ball off on that, or he could have ran. Is that always in play on that on the goal line?
Yeah, and certain plays are tagged just like certain plays are tagged with bubble screens. Some are tagged if you get soft corner to throw, just to throw the out. He has that option. So in that case, when the guy squeezed back down, you can't throw it.
So would there have been a verbal audible and handoff to the right side?
No, nothing verbal. It's just like you throw the screen or you hand the ball off. You throw the out or you hand the ball off. Right.
What are the pros and cons of short yardage running from the gun to the quarterback under center?
Well, the only advantage difference when you're in the pistol would be the quarterback sneak. But Trevor's not a 250-pound guy. That's not something that, it could help you, it could not. But but when you're in the pistol and the guy's right behind you, you're going to hand the ball off in the same spot. Whether you're under the center or in the pistol.
In retrospect, knowing that you don't have those two guys on that play, do you do something differently?
Here we go. Yeah, since it didn't work, yeah.
Well,
that play with Samaje has worked pretty well, overall. So I'm not disappointed, mad, anything about the call. If it doesn't work, everybody, you should have thrown it. You should have did this. You should have did that. Well, that's where it is. So.
Bob, what were the breakdowns on the block PAT and then his miss from 19?
Again, we have a lineman inside that doesn't protect, gets beat and allows the penetration, and guys too far in the backfield gets his hand up. As far as, Michael just felt he rushed it, the second one. So he had a bad shot.
Bob, what's your thoughts on your safety play at this point?
And let me say, since you asked, Michael has been as consistent and good a player as we've had here over the last 4 years, and he's been a big part of a lot of wins here. So he had a bad day or a couple of bad shots, and that's just it hasn't happened to him hardly at all, and it just had it came at a bad time. But we all respect him and think the world of him, and we'll need him to win more games coming forward.
You worry about that lingering?
No. No, I don't. I think Michael's hit a heck of a lot more great ones than he has bad ones, and I think he'll get over it quickly. He's got a lot of character and toughness to him.
What are your thoughts on your safety, especially with your new guy, Thomas, back there?
Ahmad had a couple of poor plays, but he's played well. Ahmad has played well through the year. Normally a really good tackler, and just one obvious one sticks out when he misses it. When you're back there alone. But for the most part through the year, he's been a very solid tackler and player for us.
did you consider matching up Sanchez in the first half? In your game planning on Lockett, or was that something that you just adjusted to at halftime? Did you consider doing the other?
Yes and no. Again, it just there's when you get so used to playing left and right, it can foul you up too. So it was talked about.
Do you have on Rukowski? I guess you're waiting for word, but are you willing to go through your interpretation of what you saw or what you've seen on replay since? Or
yeah, it just seems to me that all the action, when you start, it's not like he's peeling back or some broken play that's running. This is a guy that operates in the box, where you're allowed to cut, you're allowed to do all kind of things, and it's not. And again, it just turns back on a guy, and I don't know how you can, what he's supposed to do, and it looked to me like he was targeting the shoulder, and the guy ducks and moves, and how that can all be handled when you're playing inside the box with linemen, fullbacks, tight ends seems difficult to regulate. Now, a guy running downfield and can't see somebody and turn and blindside him, which happened to Aaron Franklin a week ago. It's a little different, but that wasn't the case.
Did it make it more frustrating because Trevor was injured on a possible spear?
Well, it's, they always talk about protecting the quarterback over and over and over, and always err on the side of, if it's close, call it, and it didn't seem to happen there.
How did Stryker play?
I played okay. Played good.
Cody Thomas, Bob, gave you a really big series when Knight got hurt, and I wondered if you could address just his general development. We haven't seen a whole lot of him, and that was obviously the first big situation.
That was another, positive, and Cody came in poised, handled everything really well, threw the ball, operated at the line of scrimmage in a really positive way, looked very comfortable, so that was that was a real positive for sure. And then he handles the bad snap. He has enough, you could tell, awareness to know where the hole for the running back was going to be, and looks for it and finds it, and has a big play there. So, Cody came in and did a really good job.
want to give a young quarterback meaningful game time situations. I take it that meant a lot more than, say, even mopping up at Tulsa when the game was more or less decided.
Well, sure, to go in there and again, be prepared to play. You could tell he's worked hard in practice and in meetings, too, because he handled all the, that came at him there really well.
Bob, you had Micaiah Quick make some plays for you. At receiver got the start. Can you just talk about his development? Does he look like a guy that's ready to kind of step in?
Yeah, Micaiah, and he looked ready for the moment out there. He played hard. He played fast. He did what we needed him to do. He's really good route running. So, he's a talented guy that hopefully will keep making improvement and stay on the field because he has ability to do it.
Talk a little bit about what you're doing with Geno. I mean, I know Devontae started playing well in the Texas game, but he was talking about just an opportunity to stay fresher and get after the quarterback a little bit more.
Yeah, they're both talented guys, and Geno always has the ability to rush inside, which he got a sack. When we get into longer yardage to get him in the inside pass rush opportunities. And so we'll keep working them in both, like we have outside and sometimes on the inside over guards, in passing situations. But and he's a guy that could still go in there and play at a 4 technique if we needed him to. Since he did it an entire year last year, so he's pretty versatile in what he's able to do.
How do you feel about your overall pass rush at this point in the season?
It's been pretty good. Overall, we have 3 sacks, I think, again yesterday. So I think it's been good. And a lot of people are protecting with 6 and 7 people and running 3-man routes. That tells you it's pretty good when those tight ends and backs aren't releasing a whole lot. So it's been good.
The whole thing on the Gronkowski touchdown where it looked like there's some linemen down the field. Is that something you bring up with the Big 12 office? So even before a game, you're playing somebody, say, hey, watch for this with the officials or whatever?
Yes. It's something that's brought up.
Last year you had 2 Big 12 losses, looked to be out of the title picture, ended up pretty well in the Sugar Bowl. How do you keep the kids motivated going forward? Is that something you can bring up?
It's just you have to play next week, so we got to get ready to play next week. Play Iowa State, be better. Hopefully not make a mistake or 2 that costs us, and keep improving.
You like the off week, or does it matter at all to you?
It doesn't matter just because it's that's what the schedule says you got to do. So you operate within ahead of time what this is where where all your spots are. You just got to deal with it.
Bob, you played 3 straight games, physical offensive lines and things. How well do you feel like your linebackers are holding up, and how well are they playing inside?
They've done a good job. Again, they're those guys, backers, have played pretty well, really.
Bob, did you play? Sounds like you were pretty pleased with it. Did you play well enough that if the field goes go differently?
Sorry.
Well, I'm just saying that
nothing's
a couple
well
of
enough
things,
when you lose by a point. I've said that. I mean, we needed to be a player or 2 better on offense, a series or a player or 2 better on defense, or on special teams. It all isn't good enough when you lose.
I'm talking about the margin of being in a really good position. If a couple of things had gone differently, it sounds like you were pretty pleased with that effort versus where you are right now in a bad situation.
Well, yeah, but you can't anticipate missing the field goals and the extra point blocked, or on and on. It just a lot of areas we did play better. We didn't have as many mental breakdowns. We executed our passing game, in a really good way. We're much better on 3rd down conversions. So, but it doesn't matter. I'd take the other in a minute. So it's just you can't make the critical mistakes that that change the game with points.
What's your thoughts about the Big 12? It looks like there's a lot of parity.
I knew that. I don't know if you guys are maybe just getting it, but I was very aware of it before the season. It's a lot of good players across the board, good quarterbacks, a lot of innovation on offenses, good coaches. So it's a challenge. Every week, of course, but again, that isn't surprising to me.
Alex was able to break some things out of the running game at tailback. Did he did he just read things better? Did he have a lot better day just running the ball from the tailback
He,
spot?
he did a nice job. Alex, yeah, found the right spaces, cuts, made some nice plays.
So you continue to bring him along. Is his development more just learning how to read those blocks and things?
Yeah, Alex is developing just fine. I mean, he's a guy that, hopefully will continue to make plays for us.
Darrell Williams, go ahead.
Sterling got hurt right before halftime, and obviously was able to come back. The way he got hurt, though, diving after a ball out of bounds, do you have to talk to him about that, about being aware of where he is, or is that? Can you just talk about that situation?
He was about 3 to 6 inches from scoring a touchdown, so I'm not sure what he can be cautious about.
Being aware of the people, the things that are on the sideline that he ran into, things
Those
like that.
people ought to be aware. They're not playing. Those people need to be gone, or have one camera that you can leave with when you see something coming. Not have 3 of them laying around and leave it on the ground and injure a player. So Sterling doesn't need to be aware of anything but competing like he was. The people who aren't competing need to pay attention to what they're doing. And people on the sideline, obviously we need to be making sure people have the proper equipment and not too much equipment. So he shouldn't be hurt that way.
Bob, Darrell Williams has been a good player in your program. Can you talk about his what he's been for you?
Yeah, Darrell's been a great leader, worker, everything. He does everything the right way, great in the classroom, and, not afraid to step up and say something as a leader. So he's had a great year. He's really played well. So he's been with Gabe Eichert leaving a year ago, he really took on that leadership role up there, and it's really been a positive.
Anybody else?
All right.
Thank you.